2021 has been a year full of challenges for me. Finding myself living alone again after being many years in a relationship required many adjustments, and I had to set new habits and routines to get used to my new normal. One of the biggest challenges that I had to face was the new financial situation. Suddenly, I had to rely exclusively on my income while taking care of all of the expenses and bills, and because I only work part-time, things have been even more challenging. I know my values and priorities though, so I am determined to turn 2022 into a year of financial goals and maximum frugality while still living a great life. It's all about putting things into perspective and mastering new routines. I want to save for the things that are important to me while making sure that I set aside something for rainy days and for retirement. So here's how I will be saving more money in 2022. 1. No more relying on convenience when it comes to groceries. Instead of going to the grocery store down the street, which is more expensive though, I now plan better my weekly grocery shopping and go to a less closer store, which is also much cheaper. I buy mostly off-brand products, but I also always keep an eye on about to expire products, which usually can save me up to 50% and are a huge help for the environment too. I also always make sure to have staple ingredients at home for quick and easy go-to recipes, so I can always whip up something to eat instead of having to get lunch or dinner out. 2. Switch to a different bank. I've been a client of the same bank ever since I moved to Germany, without really paying attention to all of the fees that it used to charge me on a yearly basis. And I don't even remember when was the last time that I visited a branch. So a couple of months ago, I switched to a different bank, which is online only and much more inexpensive than the one that I used to be a client of. 3. A shopping ban for books. Last year, I went through a massive reading rut, which lasted over 7 months. And still, I kept buying books every once in a while. So my goal for this year is to read all of the books on my bookshelf that I haven't read yet and try to find more books to read for free through the book swap group that I normally meet with, book crossings, the public library, and borrowing from friends. 4. Research. It's incredible how much money we can save just by taking enough time to make a proper research where the thing that we're looking for can be found for cheaper. So a little time investment now can pay me off a lot later. 5. Swapping and finding things for free. Anything that will save me money and that will be good for the environment, well, I am all about it. Swapping is such a great way to get rid of something that is no longer needed in exchange for something that suits me better in that specific moment, and all of this totally for free. Asking your friends, family, or neighbors is a great way to do it. Otherwise, the internet is always an option. And sometimes a swap is not even needed, as it is possible to find hand-me-downs or things listed online for free. 6. Selling what I no longer need or use. Sometimes certain items might be hard to part with because of their value, material, or sentimental. And sometimes it's hard instead because we get attached to the idea of our fantasy self that might still use that item or do that thing. For me, for example, such item is my sewing machine. As much as I love the idea of really learn how to use it, I haven't touched it in almost 1 year and used it only a bunch of times since I got it. When it comes to these items, it's important to be honest with ourselves and let them go. So I have pledged to sell all of the unused items that are worth selling and that can bring me back some cash. 7. Investing into ETFs. Now, this is something that I definitely need to learn more about and to properly master. But the reality is that with the pandemic going on and prices overall getting higher and higher, well, saving is not enough anymore, considering that our paychecks stay the same. Making investments through ETFs can bring me some extra cash in, especially for the future, without having to do anything specific. 8. Cashback and bonus programs, coupons, and freebies. This year, I am determined to get the most out of these options, as these can be great ways to save a ton of money. Of course, I'll use them if and when it makes sense for me to use them. Otherwise, they can turn into a huge waste of money and resources. But with the right mindfulness, they can be a great relief for my wallet. 9. Effective savings. Every single euro that I will save each month will be put onto my separate savings account, which is meant to be used for future plans and for emergencies. Usually, I make my monthly budget considering a slightly lower income than the one that I actually get. And every extra money that I might get through extra incomes, for example, YouTube, or through cashbacks, things that I sell, etc., will be destined for future plans and expenses. Also, I started using my savings jar again. Whenever I decide not to buy something, whatever this may be, I take the amount that I would have spent and I put it in a jar. 10. Living small. While splitting the cost with a roommate or with roommates can be cheaper, living in a small studio apartment allows me to cut costs of rent, utilities, and general expenses while still maintaining my independence and privacy. And if I pay attention and I use energy and appliances mindfully, if I buy consciously and prevent any form of waste, and if I do all of the things that I mentioned above, this will be even easier to achieve. What are your favorite ways of saving money efficiently? Do you consider yourself a frugal person? Let me know down below. If you have found this video helpful, please like it, share it, and consider subscribing. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.